Hi boys and girls! Today we're going to do a little math lesson and you're going to need a few supplies. First you're going to need to find a deck of cards. There's a pretty good chance there is some type of deck of cards in your house. They don't have to look exactly like this, but in a minute if you pause the video and ask an adult to help you, I bet you'll be able to find a deck of cards that have things in them called face cards and number cards. We just want to use the number cards for this activity. So you and the adult need to take the face cards out. Now a face card is called a face card because it has a face on it. That's a J for Jack, a Q for Queen, a K for King, and then there's these things called aces. You're not going to need it for this math activity either, so the aces also have to come out of the pile. Now there's 52 cards in a deck of cards. So you and your adult are going to pause this video right now and take all the face cards and aces out of the pile. When you're done, start the video again. Now that you're back, you should have quite a big stack of cards that just have numbers on them. These are the numbers we're going to use for our little math game. The other thing you're going to need, besides your number cards, is some type of toy. I'm going to use my Lego pieces again, but you could use Paw Patrol characters, Polly Pockets, Frozen pieces, anything that you wanted, but you're going to need 10 small items. They don't even have to be the same. So again, pause this video and go get 10 small items. Great. Now that you're back, the final thing that you're going to need to do, and there's lots of different ways to do this, is to make a 10 frame. One easy way to do this with no drawing involved is to find an egg carton that's empty and cut off the last 2 pieces so that you have 5 holes on top and 5 holes on the bottom. A 10 frame is a fancy math term that just helps your child understand math a little bit better with a little more in-depth. In school they look something like this. So if you'd rather pause the video again and have an adult make you a paper one, all it is a rectangle, cut in half, and then it has 4 lines down it, like this, to make 5 spots on top and 5 spots on the bottom. You don't have to have it cut out like this. I just made it so it'd be easy to see when I show you the video in a second. The other way you could make a 10 frame is if you happen to have a lot of masking tape or painter's tape, you could make a big rectangle on the floor and divide it into 10 equal boxes with a row of 5 on top and a row of 5 on the bottom. And that would be a fun way for your child to do this activity. This activity helps you and your child explore numbers, not just counting to 5 or counting to 10, but understanding what the number 5 really means and what the number 8 really means in comparison to the number 5. So I'm going to turn my video down like I did the last time when I did a Play-Doh one. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit and you're just going to see my hands and hear my voice and maybe see a little bit of my body, but not my face, because we're going to talk about math using manipulatives today. So here we go. Hopefully now you can see all the supplies that I have. Now for the video it's going to be the easiest for me not to use my egg carton, but to use my white 10 frame that I've made here so that you can see. Now what's going to happen is you're going to have a deck of cards and you're going to have your child turn over the first number card, and that number happens to be what, everybody? If you said 5, you're right. What's awesome about these cards is that if your child doesn't recognize that number 5, they can count the objects on the card that are inside that rectangle, and that should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then I'm going to take 5 Legos and put them in my 10 frame. When I do this, I want to do it from left to right, and I want to start at the top, just like if I was reading a book. There, I've made 5. Now some of the things you can talk about is, well, we filled up a row of 5, how many are not filled? And your child would hopefully go 5, or they would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'd go, right, 5 plus 5 is 10. So depending where your child is at, they might just need to know that they put 5 Legos or toys in the top row, and that's the digit 5, and that is another way to represent 5. Some children are going to be ready to do the addition part or the subtraction part, and you can ask a lot of questions around that and expand their learning. Once they were done with that, you could have them flip another card. One way to do this next number would be to then take away what you don't need and leave just 2. Or some children would need the board to be completely blank, and then they would look at that, say it's 2, double check themselves to count the 2 objects on the inside of the card, and then put 2 Legos here. The options are endless. I can also enrich this activity by saying, okay, well, there's 2 Legos in those boxes. How many boxes are empty? They might be able to say that this is a row of 5 because they can visualize that. 5 and 3 would be 8, and they could say 8 empty boxes and 2 full boxes. Your children are going to use 10 frames a lot in kindergarten and first grade, and so playing with them right now is a great introduction to how they're going to use them next year. I'm going to do one more. Boys and girls, what number is that? If you said 3, you are right. And if I hold up this card so there isn't a glare, you should be able to see 3 hearts on the inside rectangle, which means I then need to put 1 Lego in each box up to 3. And then I could say that 3 is actually less than 5 because this row of 5 is not full. But 3 is also more than 2 because it looks different than the 2 that we just did. You can talk about greater than or less than. The key to this activity is only doing it for a few minutes at a time. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then allowing your child to go do something else. We don't want to do something for so long that they get bored or anxious. We just want them to be able to be engaged for that period of time and then move on to something else. The final one I'm going to do with everybody is this number. Can you see that number? If you said that number was the number 7, you are right. Now by the time we get to 7, some of us can't count that high or recognize that digit, I should say, so we'd have to count the pieces inside. And then I might leave the 3 that are already there and go 3, 1, 2, 3, and add 4, 5, 6, 7. And that would be 7. And I could say, oh, to my child, what makes 10 then? How many more Legos do I have to put in to get to the number 10? And they would go 1, 2, 3, or maybe some of your children would know that that's 3 already. Because before they left me in March, some of my children could tell me what 3 and 2 and 4 looked like without even having to put a finger in each box. So to wrap this up, again, this is called a 10 frame. And to do this lesson, probably without the video, as this is more of a teaching video, you would need either a 10 frame that looks something like this that you could easily draw with a ruler or a straight edge and a marker. You could use an egg carton like this. You could put tape on the floor. Gather 10 objects and let them play cards. One final one, 6. I would go, oh, 6. I wonder what 6 looks like. Your child would put 6 in there and go, oh, wow. You could even say, what do you notice about 6? And they might say, I noticed that 6 is 1 more than 5 because it's the extra row. The options, as always, are endless. Explore this math with your child. Allow them to play and have fun. Use this video as a tool to teach them or something that they watch with you and then you go and explore yourself. Have a great day, boys and girls. Call, text, or email me any questions you might have about 10 frames, and I'd be happy to answer them. Stay safe, be well, and wash those hands. Have a great day. Bye-bye.